The night she finds the bank statements tucked behind a framed beach photo, Nora stands very still, as if motion itself might break the room. Monthly transfers to a familiar name, his ex-wife, and a key taped to the back. The lake house they once shared. From the shower, Daniel hums, then stumbles over an apology he hasn't said out loud. The second wife in a second chapter realizes you can love someone deeply and still discover a fault line. If the lie was meant to protect, why does it hurt like betrayal? Nora met Daniel in a coastal bookstore on a rainy Saturday. Their conversation outlasted the storm and most of the afternoon. He was a civil engineer, measured and steady. She ran a small design studio out of her apartment, all light and plants and too many mugs. He had a 12-year-old daughter, Maya, who loved maps and strawberry pancakes. He was divorced from Grace. Co-parenting worked because they kept the calendar sacred and the arguments quiet. A year later, Nora married Daniel on the cedar porch of the house they chose together. She called herself Bonus Mom, careful with every step, letting Maya decide what felt right. The romance was gentle post-it notes on lunch bags, Saturday markets, late-night crossword puzzles. Nora liked how Daniel looked relieved when he laughed. He liked how she turned blank corners into warm spaces. They promised transparency, knowing second marriages start with more history in the room. Money was practical, shared but not scrutinized, until it wasn't. A letter arrived that didn't fit any pile, and the hidden statements. Then a late-night text from Grace about a broken furnace at the lake house Daniel never mentioned. The story in Nora's head went from "Wedo, maybe I'm the last to know," and it scared her how quickly love can feel like a room with a light switched off. She wanted answers and a reason to keep believing this marriage could hold both truth and kindness without collapsing. The conversation starts at the kitchen island, hands on opposite sides like they're both steadying a bridge. "Why didn't you tell me?" Nora asks, voice level, heart loud. Daniel's eyes flick to the statements, then to the key. "After the divorce, I promised Grace I'd keep the lake house paid until we sold it," he says. For Maya, for summers that still felt familiar. Then she lost work last year. "I helped. I thought I was protecting you from more history." He runs a hand over his jaw. "It was cowardly. I know how it looks." "It looks like you didn't trust me with your mess," Nora says. Her voice cracks, and she lets it. "I don't want to be the woman who came second and stays second to any secret." Maya pads in for water, reads the room, and backs out with a quiet nod. The ache on Daniel's face is its own confession. They try again on neutral ground. A therapist's office that smells like citrus and books. Daniel names what he's never said. Guilt about the marriage that ended. Shame about being the one who left. Fear that asking Nora to carry any of it would make him less worthy of this new life. Nora names what keeps her up. A dread of being the replacement. A worry that if she asks for accountability, she'll be called controlling. The therapist distills it. You both tried to protect each other by withholding. That protects no one. Grace becomes a person instead of a ghost when they meet for coffee in a public place with clear boundaries. She's frank. The furnace broke. She asked Daniel for help because he always fixed what broke. It was about Maya, Grace says, eyes tired but kind. "Not us. I should have looped you in. I didn't want to be seen as interfering." The word interfering hangs steady, neither accusation nor defense. Maya, whose map of the world is carefully drawn, asks to visit the lake house once. All together, to say goodbye if they're going to sell. They go on a cloudy Saturday. The house smells like cedar and wet leaves. Maya finds a box of Polaroids, sets them on the table for sorting. Nora takes pictures of the pictures so the memories travel easily. Daniel stands on the dock and admits out loud that keeping the place afloat was less about property and more about a fantasy of control. If he could maintain one constant, maybe the past would behave. They decide the house goes on the market. The proceeds go to a college fund for Maya and a cushion for everyone to exhale. At home, Nora drafts a no more hiding plan, shared budget, shared logins, shared decisions over $500. Daniel prints it, signs it, and suggests couples check-ins every Sunday. He also texts Grace a clear boundary message and CCS Nora. Emergencies go to both of us. Financial decisions require transparency. Trust doesn't return like a light switch. It returns like morning, gradual, observable. Daniel cancels a business trip to attend Maya's school play, the one he almost missed arranging contractors at the lake. Nora sees him choose presence over penance and feels something unclench. He rebuilds a wobbly bookshelf with her. They laugh softly when it still leans, then fix it together. He shows her his calendar. She shows him how she hides worry and busyness. They practice, fail small, repair fast. The romance shifts from grand gestures to daily proof. Daniel's secrecy grows from a knot of guilt and identity. As the lever, he overcorrects by becoming the fix or quietly paying. Quietly carrying, hoping redemption comes from shouldering weight alone. But secrecy isn't service. It's control and a nicer coat. The turning point is not getting caught, but naming the pattern. Protecting others from the truth is often about protecting yourself from shame. Nora's hurt is layered. Being second wife comes with a shadow, the fear that love is a rotation instead of a choice. The hidden key presses that bruise, the house, the transfers, the quiet decisions in rooms she wasn't invited into. Her temptation is to withdraw or manage both ways to avoid deeper risk. Her healthy pivot is to demand process, not punishment. Shared budgets, shared language, shared time with a therapist. Its boundary is care, not boundary as wall. Grace's presence complicates, then clarifies. Once humanized, she becomes part of a system that can be redesigned. Her willingness to accept boundaries without dramatics lowers the heat. Maya is the quiet compass. Her ask to say goodbye at the lake reframes the conflict from possession to transition, allowing everyone to grieve what's ending and bless what's next. The micro turns matter. Daniel CCing Nora on messages. Nora inviting Daniel into her anxiety instead of hiding it. Both of them laughing gently at a leaning bookshelf and choosing repair. Redemption here is earned in inches, not speeches. The relationship shifts from Dan T. Rock the boat to we can weather waves if we row together. House sells in early spring. They drive out one last time with a thermos of cocoa and a roll of Painter S tape. Maya labels boxes, keep scan yard sale. Daniel takes a final photo of the dock. Nora snaps one of the three of them, hair wind tossed, eyes soft. On the way home, they stop for burgers, talk about colleges like possibilities instead of pressure. At the next Sunday check-in, Daniel brings a printed budget and a handwritten apology he doesn't read. He just hands it over, a record for future days when doubt gets loud. Nora slides across a list titled, "What helps me feel first?" It includes small things. A good morning kiss before phones. Loop me in even if it's messy. Tell me when you're afraid so we can be brave at the same time. They pin both pages to the corkboard by the calendar. Grace texts to thank them for involving her in the clear plan and for not turning her into a story.
Oh.
Nora replies with a simple boundary and a wish for steadiness. Maya, sensing the grown-ups have finally made a map everyone can read, asks if the three of them can start a Saturday pancake rotation. They do. The kitchen becomes a place where batter rests, and people do too. One evening, a summer storm knocks the power. In candlelight, Nora and Daniel play cards at the kitchen island that once felt like a dividing line. He reaches across, rests his hand on the place where her pulse beats. "Thank you for staying long enough to let me earn this," he says, voice low. She lets out a slow breath, not a dramatic sigh, and answers, "Thank you for choosing truth over fixing. I can meet you there." Later, in the quiet, they dance in stocking feet to the soft radio static of a station between stations. No grand music, just the sound of rain and two people learning the steps. The second wife is no one's second choice. She's this chapter's co-author. Betrayal didn't end them. Owning it, learning from it, and rebuilding with boring, beautiful consistencies is what mattered.